So this will serve as sort of the preliminary video for this. Well, it's a little hard to see because my setup isn't exactly made for consoles this big, but this is an original Xbox One that I got for pretty cheap, and it's been opened. I mean, the side panel is popped off. I don't know if that just clips in. I haven't really pressed on it that hard. Maybe it does, or maybe it like latches in some way. Its face piece is falling, or there's a pretty significant gap right here that doesn't look natural. Maybe it is. It might be for ventilation, but I mean, I can see clips, I can see PCB in there. I don't think this was clipped on correctly, as well as the warranty sticker just being gone. But other than that, I mean, this must be a revision of the Xbox One I'm not familiar with, because the original VCRs, I'm pretty sure, had this piece was all glossy. I mean, this piece is, especially right here on the front, but I remember this entire piece being glossy, so either this is a revision I'm not familiar with, or I'm forgetting something. Now, this console specifically, the person who sold it to me said that it powers on, powers off, that's it. So, something's going on. Now, I did get the original power supply from them, and what's interesting is the power plug that goes into the Xbox is somewhat reminiscent of an Xbox 360, and I'm curious if I can just use an Xbox 360 power supply. So I need to confirm those specs with one I have kicking around. I mean, like, the recess of the plug might prevent me from actually using it. If there's a recess for the plug. No, not really. I don't think that would inhibit my use. Let me check the rating, the output voltage. Oh, yeah. This console wants 16.5 amps, and the 360 power supply only kicks out 9. I mean, it's pretty significantly more. I don't exactly know what would happen if I tried it anyway. Probably nothing would happen. So I'm just stuck with the power supply I have, which will most likely give me the same error. I will try it though, and I'm not going to take this thing apart today. I just kind of wanted to get first impressions out of the way to see if there's anything obvious. Like, if this power supply starts, like, squealing or something, then I'll know there's something wrong with it. And I'll have to look into if I can use an Xbox 360 power supply. I'm guessing nothing would happen if I tried plugging it in. It's turning on. And I mean, they even left the little plastic wrap on this thing. But these consoles are getting old. Let me find the plug end. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's going to be very hard to show. But what it'll do is the power light comes on for like a second and then just like flickers off. It has no game. Curious. Yeah, I don't think there's really much I can do right now, unless I want to take it apart. But it would probably be good for me to get another power supply. I might want to see if if my local recycler has a power supply. I think they might for an Xbox 360, or for an Xbox One, just in case this thing is just toast. Just for some reason, it's just not doing anything. I don't know if I can really effectively volt read it. I can try. I don't know how much I can get from the power supply just by probing the ends. I don't know if there's any like safeties in place. Tower of DS carts fell over. Woe is me. Let me take off these probe ends. I mean, 4.8 volts out of a 12 volt power supply. My assumption is this is a safety. So it's not actually going to be actively kicking out 12 volts the entire time. It needs to like send a signal basically back to the power supply to ingest 12 volts. That's kind of my understanding. Try probing it again. Ooh, see, it's not kicking anything out, and my little light went off, so I think it maybe like safety turned off itself or something. Unless I blew it. That'd be a little sad. Let me try this power end. I think I got my two PC power supply cables mixed up. Okay, light's back on, so it's not completely dead. But maybe once I probe it, it goes into like a safety shutoff. That's kind of what I understand these power supplies to do. Let's see if it'll do it again. Yeah, 4.8 volts again. I wonder if it goes into like a standby. Maybe that's a little more. Oh, there it went. Maybe I have to give it a few seconds to discharge before I can use it again. If I understand these symbols correctly, it's volt amperage. So I can see how much it's kicking out at 4.8 volts. Okay. There it is again. Oh, shut off. I think it might be a safety shut off. Like I must be bridging the internal positive. Me fumbling around, I'm probably bridging it with the outer grounding. So it's just powering off immediately. So unless I get like little leads that I can plug into there. I mean, it's kicking 4 volts. That's somewhat suspicious, but I'm going to guess that's like some type of standby voltage where once it detects that it's actually in the console and it's pulling enough power out, it will kick it back. It will kick it up to the 6 or the 12 volts it's expecting. Let me look up, see if I can use my Xbox 360 power supply without damaging that. Okay, so I think the best move is to get another power supply, just on the off chance that there's something wrong with this one. I could pry this thing apart to see if there's anything obvious, but I'm not going to do that right now, because I'm guessing these feet are... If this is anything like a 360 power supply, these feet have to be, like, aggressively pried off. I mean, it's kind of looking like it. And I think I'll do that later. I just wanted to see if there's anything I could glean immediately, but it's currently sitting where the seller told me, where it doesn't turn on. Oh no. So curious, very curious. I'd like to open it up too and just see kind of the state it's in, because I'm not the first one. Oh yeah, even the eject button doesn't line up. They really didn't get that housing back together correctly. I mean, who am I kidding? I can't stay away. I'm way too curious. So I was chatting with AI, which, I mean, like it, hate it, or even trust it, I think it's a pretty invaluable research when it comes to just weird niche problems like this, as it serves as like a hyper-specific search engine. And it wants me to probe the power supply, which I do want to take it apart because I am looking in one of these little vents and it is dust buildup. So even if this power supply was good, it is dirty. It needs to be addressed. And I need to know, like, if this was sitting behind a TV, even if it was not scratched, just building up dust, building up dust, building up dust. Did it overheat, blow a capacitor? Is this thing even good? Like, this thing could be faulty. That could be the entire problem. Now, I'm pretty sure my local electronics recycler has one of these, but that's a bet. That's just me betting on what I remember, because I'm not exactly trolling for Xbox One power supplies. I don't really have a need for them normally. So what I need to do is, I'm going to bet these are the same as the Xbox 360 ones, where you have to kind of dig them out. So it's not exactly my favorite way of pulling these off. I might have to look up a guide, see if anybody figured out how to take these off non-destructively. But I think it's going to be kind of the same, where I take a sacrificial flathead screwdriver, which I pretty much bought this kit exclusively for just prying away at stuff. Just jamming it in there and yanking it off. Yep, they're the exact same as the Xbox 360. I don't like it, but to Microsoft's credit, you're not really supposed to be opening these things. The amount of voltage of these things kick off can apparently be incredibly dangerous. I'm not very proficient when it comes to sort of scaling what exactly 12 volts means, or at this amperage. If that means it's gonna like drop me dead if I slip, or kind of how all that works. Because on paper it's one thing, but what does that exactly mean in real life scenario? So, chatting with AI, it recommended I probe the power supply as I power on the console to see if it kicks out 12 volts for a period of time. They recommend, or they say about 12 seconds, or not 12 seconds, 12 volts at about half a second. And I'm a little skeptical if my fluke meter can catch that voltage for long enough. Not to doubt Fluke's sort of quality or anything, but it's not, I don't think it's necessarily designed for that. So this would at least tell me if my power supply might be the culprit. It's a little hard to say this early on. Well, I'm gonna guess these are all kind of, this is gonna be set up similar to a 360 power supply. It's gonna have a T10 security bit, which they are Torx security bits. Guess T10. Yep. My poor desk is covered in DSI guts. Let's hope this thing comes apart as easy as the 360 power supply, because once I undo these, it just kind of falls apart. I did recently put power to this thing, so I'm gonna have to be very careful. How I probe it, I'm gonna have to be very careful. We'll see. I might also have to air dust this thing off. I might even be able to take my Xbox into the electronics recycler just to test one of their power supplies, so I'm not just frivolously purchasing power supplies. Okay, goes upside down. Yeah, this is the exact same layout as the Xbox One, or Xbox 360, sort of, in a way. It's got sort of the fan housing up here for the little tiny fan. I think all this needs is a good blow off. I don't have to actually go through. There's significantly more components. And I mean, there's nothing obvious. There's no blown capacitors. I mean, some of these green caps right here are a little they're bulging pretty good. I'm wondering if maybe that's the problem. That is just a faulty capacitors. Could I replace them? I mean, probably. I'd have to order capacitors. Is it worth working on a power supply when I can pick one up for fairly cheap? That I don't really know. But those capacitors are bulging pretty good. I think it's all three of them right there. Now, I can't say I'm super familiar with, like, is that the smoking gun, like, aha, there's my problem? Or if it's like those are they're near the end of their life. Oh, I really don't like dropping this piece. I'm just gonna scoop it out with my plastic pick. I don't want my pliers to short on anything. Okay, so I'm gonna have to power on my Xbox kind of off screen. That thing's a little unwieldy in the current state that it's in. So there are 3 wires going in. So I see my 12-volt line right there. They're the yellow wires. Wonder if I can take this board out. Or is it kind of wedged in here? Because I don't think I can probe those, Ooh, it's got a, it's got a shield there. I don't think I can do that. Be careful what I touch. So I see the 2 yellow wires for 12 volt right there. The problem is I don't think I can probe them safely without kind of knowing the internal anatomy of this console. I should be able to probe the capacitors just in case I'm not. Kind of see how safely I can handle this thing without exploding. I mean, that one has a volt. That one has 2 volts. I'm wondering if it is these capacitors. Like, those guys are bulging pretty good. Again, I don't think bulging capacitors means that they're just dead. But either they're prone to failure or maybe they are dead. I mean, that is a very strong indicator that something's wrong with this power supply, other than just it not powering on. So let me try and flip it again. Is there any way I can probe that? I think because this metal shielding is soldered on, it's a bit inconvenient. I don't want to strip away the 12 volt. And I can't exactly trace. I wonder if I can just sort of slip my probes underneath the shielding. Just to touch it. Oh, because there's a layer of plastic, so I might be able to do it. I mean, this is going to be a little sketchy. I have to be very careful. I think if I do that, that should... Let me run continuity to see if I am actually hitting this 12 volt. Then I might have to try and turn on the Xbox with my foot. I don't know which one it's going to be probing to. It might be both of these wires. Okay, it is. So then grounding. Can I just ground against the metal shielding here? Yes, I can. Perfect. I'll test volt against ground. I mean, it's not in the most secure spot where it is. Maybe see if I can just sort of stick it onto its upper housing. I don't want to touch it, but I need it open. I think that will work. It'll at least stay in place. Let's get the Xbox. Let me plug in the lead end into a power strip. I won't plug it in yet, but okay. Lead end is plugged into the Xbox. I just have it sitting on the floor. It's a little too unwieldy to put on my desk. Okay. Very carefully now. Plug this in. And this will be live. Okay, the LED on the side turned on. That's not really going to be visible. Okay. I'm definitely going to have to rely on my video feed because I'm going to be kind of looking at everything but. Okay, it did kick for 12 volts just for a little bit. One. It holds it for a little bit. I think that's a continuous hold. So even though those capacitors are bulging, and again, it could be those capacitors, like maybe it kicks up to 12 volts, but maybe it can't kick out enough amps. Because I almost hear the power supply like revving up. Interesting. Okay, so let me get everything unplugged, let it discharge. See if AI has anything interesting regarding bulging capacitors. Because again, my understanding is they're probably okay, they're not healthy, and they need to be replaced. So I took the console apart, mainly because it's filthy. I kind of wanted to get it cleaned before I did any further testing, get the thing repasted. Just give it a general inspection to see if I spotted anything that was, like, suspicious, anything that was, like, obviously tampered with since the console was opened, and I can't spot anything. Everything looks great other than just being dusty. So for now, I think I just have to wait for a power supply unit to come in. I do have a local recycler. I might just be able to take my Xbox in just to see if the thing will power up with one of their power supplies. And if it does, if it boots, then I know it's a power supply. I might be able to order some capacitors for that power supply to maybe bring it back to life, or I just buy the power supply that they have. I think they would only charge me like 10, 15 bucks for it and call that a day. Because I don't know if the bulging capacitors could be due to age. I don't know if it's like a cascading issue, like if there's a fault somewhere else on that power supply and plugging in 3 more capacitors, they're just going to blow immediately. I don't know. I can't say I know enough about power supplies to really say one way or another, but it's something I can look into. Maybe my recycler would even have some capacitors kicking around. Probably not, but I mean, it's worth checking. But so for now, I'm going to get this thing cleaned. I think it just needs to be blown off and probably wiping the fans wiping the fan down, repasting it, and getting it all back together. And we go from there. Oh, I got a new power supply for the Xbox, and not to kind of spoil the surprise, because I already tested it. I tested it before I purchased it, but that was indeed the problem. And when I got power to it, it'll be a little hard to show because my setup isn't really meant for this kind of setup. Turns on and doesn't turn off. And it does show a display. I need to get my controller synced to it. I just didn't want to flash this person's personal info, so I won't be showing it on screen. Odd as it didn't chime when I plugged it in, or when I turned it on. The fan's going. Oh, that is interesting. Okay, it's not chiming. I just turned it off. Power down. Just powered it back on. It is very strange. The little speaker inside of it isn't chiming at me. Still on. I can feel the fan, hear it a little bit as well. Let me do a long shutdown. Hold the power button. Oh. Wonder if that had something to do with it. Yeah, I didn't have the power cord plugged in all the way. Holy. What a noob mistake. It chimed at me. So I'm wondering if it wasn't... If only one of the, I think the 12-volt prongs were making it in. So it was enough to sort of start the console a little bit, but not enough to sort of fully initialize it. Waiting for my display to come on. Oh, I made this mistake at the recycler. The original Xbox One and the Xbox One S. Where is it? Had two HDMI ports. They had a pass-through because Microsoft was interested in making this a home system. Or like a media center. Alright, and I am online. Let me sync and initialize. Oh, that sync button actually doesn't hit anything. Because I think that there's a plastic piece on this side, I think, that was missing. So I'm going to be unable to... I might be unable to sync a controller to it without sort of partially taking it apart. I should be able to pop this panel off. I just need to press the sync button so I can get a controller to it. Why is there never a plastic pry tool when I need one? I just need to throw 100 of them on my desk. One back here that I can't see. Yes, there is. Well, I didn't think that plastic piece was that important, but I guess it's far more important than I expected. How does this thing even work? Is it just a touch sensor? I thought it was like a physical button. Maybe I'm just misremembering how I sync controllers to this thing. I thought it was this little button next to the eject port. But it's not a physical button. It has a ribbon connected to it. The eject button isn't working either. Curious. I mean, I don't necessarily think I can pop the front panel off without sort of taking this console apart. I mean, don't exactly enjoy doing while the thing's on. But yeah, there is a plastic piece that slides over here. That might be a little more important than I gave it credit for. I thought it was more just a support bracket, but if I can't sync controllers to it, let me turn it off. I thought this was going to be a simple update of, yeah, it was the power supply. But now I need to get this thing partially apart again. And then I do intend on... The next step will be actually cleaning it this time. Because I didn't do any cleaning, I just took it apart enough just to verify that there was nothing obviously wrong. I mean, it turns on and I get to a menu, so I'm making very good progress. I need to look up how to take this thing apart again. I remember this thing being a lot easier. And a lot easier just relative to an Xbox 360. Not as many hidden clips. Okay, it should just sort of release from right here. Well, yeah, from right about here. It should just kind of pop apart. And it does. There we go. I know I didn't really damage this thing when I took it apart. Like, I really had really little problems. If I remember correctly, this front piece is like levered on. Okay. Gotta be careful with the ribbon cable. Try and release the front panel. Just held in by tabs. I didn't want to put the effort in cleaning this thing because I didn't know what was wrong with it. If it was like an internal power, like if it took a surge from a failing power supply, I mean, that could be well beyond my ability to repair either feasibly or just like realistically. Like if it torched the APU or something, it's just not worth trying to fix. And a bit beyond my tools. Let me undo this front panel connector. This is very awkward. There we go. What is it holding on to? Oh, this tab is broken. I see it's hanging on. Alright, so here's the front panel. And what I mean by the sync button is it's like, oh yeah, look at that. So it's like a reverse button almost. So you press it against it and it sort of pushes off of that plastic tab that I'm missing. That's annoying. Okay, I'm gonna have to see if I can find one. If not, I might have to, I would hate the have to purchase another one to trash, essentially. So I'm going to plug the front panel in. I'm going to kind of clip it in a little, or sort of lever it into position so it's sort of held in. I mean, again, my setup is not exactly made for something this big. I mean, I work on DSIs and other small consoles. Ooh, I think I may have accidentally dunked this into my rubbing alcohol. Make sure it's nice and dry. Fan came on immediately. I'm not really sure why, if it entered a standby or maybe internal probes detected that the CPU was warm. Okay. I don't know why the chime is very intermittent. We'll see if it shows up. Yeah. I wonder if that's something you can disable. Alright, let me get a controller paired now. And I gotta kind of press this button. See if it responds. I think it just shut off. I may have accidentally pressed power button. No, that's not the case. Okay. Didn't chime. This thing is having some very interesting issues. Splash screen came up for Xbox One. Was almost making like a weird... I don't really know how to describe it. There was kind of a weird noise coming out from inside. Nothing I could really, like, describe. And I mean, it's entirely possible that this power supply that I got is enough to get it to boot, but I never tested it for, like, prolonged use. So it's possible those capacitors are going bad. Okay, let me try and get this controller synced. It's interesting, it's making a noise when I press the sync button. Like the speaker itself is actually making a chime. Why aren't I going into pairing mode? Everything should be plugged in. I'm just gonna turn it off and turn it back on. See if I can get it to go again. The system is responding. So it is telling me it should work. Why I only sort of intermittently get a chime. I mean, that could be like a user account setting, like a personal preference to turn off the chime. I need to look up just... I swear it's that side button. I might just be completely wrong. This is about a different Xbox. Yeah, it's the side button, all right. I wonder if I can pair this via USB. Why this side button's not working, I'm not entirely sure. But I would expect the front panel LED to be flashing at me. To signify that it's sort of looking for a controller. Best thing I can maybe think of is to connect a USB device to it, or to connect to the controller via USB. See if it will sort of connect it that way. I don't know why it's not syncing. I don't think it needs to ground itself against, like, a piece of plastic inside the back. Let me get this out of my way real quick. Controller responded and the console shut off. Odd. Why'd you do that? It's not reacting to the power button again. Oh, there are chimes. This console's acting very strange. I'm not really sure how to put my finger on it, but sometimes it chimes, sometimes it doesn't. Like right now, the disk drive isn't telling me that there's nothing in there. I should be connected via controller. First thing I want to do is just wipe the thing. Like, what are the chances that these are all just symptoms of a hard drive failing? These Xboxes are getting very old. And it's entirely possible that is a failure point that I would expect. Because other than being a little strange, a lot of it could just be user settings. I wouldn't be surprised. So let me just get this thing factory reset so I have it back to default. Once I get it back to default, I should be able to then be able to sort of diagnose it to see if it is a system problem or if this is all just... or if this is all just user settings. Holy, how do I... I'm at least able to navigate menus. I guess I can just start by removing an account. I might have to look up how to actually factory reset this thing. Skip sign in. There's still another profile on here. I just want to completely reset it. They don't exactly put a factory reset on the most sensible spot. There's a backup and transfer. There's updates, which I'm not connected to the internet. Content restrictions. I've been removing accounts. Power options. Oh, I see. Okay. They bury it in console information. Here it is, reset console. Reset and remove everything. You need to be online to remove home Xbox associations. I'll continue without connecting just to wipe the accounts, and then I can connect it to my network and wipe it from there if it'll allow me to go past an update screen, which I should be able to. I don't know if it'll allow me to go on the internet without an update. And then once completely factory reset, I'll just have to make sure all the chimes work. I have to figure out why the sync button doesn't work. But right now, preparing console. Oh, camera's going to switch into portrait mode. So it's just going to go through its factory resetting. I mean, the hard drive sounds fine. Usually these types of mechanical hard drives will make a bit of a racket when they're starting to fail. Preparing console. Please do not turn off. Okay, I won't. I guess in the meantime, I can look and see if I can find this bracket. I don't even know what to look for. It's like a connector piece. Let me see. I need to know what it looks like first. Yeah, it's just this just tiny piece of plastic with a little like nipple on it that serves as a back plate for that button. AliExpress, don't fail me again. You already failed me when looking at one piece that I can't buy, so I had to fix on a Wii U. Oh, I don't even know what the hell it would be called. Just a lot of controller parts. Housing. Controller, Xbox One console. Right here. For $7. I'm astounded. I didn't think I would find this thing. Two sellers have them. They're called Xbox One console case baffle trigger bezel. Internal repair part replacement. Perfect. Oh, why did my cart get cheaper? There it goes. And my shopping cart was a little expensive, and then it got cheaper, but now it's expensive again. Oh, maybe because I'm not signed in. I don't need that. I don't need that. As much as I would like to pick up a hot plate and a benchtop power supply, I probably shouldn't. Alright, initialization. This will be a little jank. Hey. Hi. This is English. United States, baby! Is it gonna force me to connect? Yes, it will. Okay. Let's get this back down over here. Specify SSID. Why isn't it searching? Hardware problem. Ooh. So, That's interesting. We are not sure what's wrong. Error code 0x, shitload of zeros, and number 2 is shitload of zeros. 1. Network error 0x. I mean, that should be enough. Curious. This Xbox One is going to be a little different than I expected. I don't know if I can go past initialization without connecting to a network. It's not seeing a network. I'm refreshing on what should be grabbing my... So, let's see. I might have to connect wired. That's going to be a little complicated. I can set up something. Where did I put my network switch? Here we are. Alright, my PC is not going to like that I'm going to take internet from it, but I can deal with it. I need to change around some plugs and go rooting around behind my desktop to get my network cable out of it. This is becoming quite the adventure. Well, depending on how far I get troubleshooting this thing, I might have to buy... There is a pair of Xboxes on Facebook Marketplace that also have issues. I might have to buy them just to get some comparison parts, a mix of good and bad, and diagnose all 3 of them at once instead of fumbling around with one. So there's definitely something wrong with the Wi-Fi system. The what, I don't know. To say I'm not super familiar with Xboxes One is kind of an understatement. Potential spam, be gone. So I don't know if this thing has like an independent Wi-Fi card. I mean, it could be this thing right here. Looks like it's connected to something. Well, it's connected via a ground. I mean, that's how I think that's how the front panel grounds. Because it's just exposed wire connected to the frame. Okay, have my main internet connection plugged in. Have my sort of auxiliary connection. Now, I should just be able to jack this straight in. Excuse me. Oh, don't want that to fall. See if he'll just grab my wired connection. This front panel on a little better. Stay. Ugh. It's not detecting the network at all. And I mean, this is not the most fantastic Ethernet cable. I think this one, the end is broken off. So let me swap the plug with the actual one that has the clip in it. Ooh, that's not going in there very nicely. There it goes. It's a very audible click. Your network is connected. Perfect. Okay. It's asking me to do my nationality again. Oh, okay. There it goes. So, Wi-Fi, what I'm noticing is it powers off randomly. Chimes are very inconsistent. No Wi-Fi. Absolutely none. And the sync button doesn't work. That might be associated with the chimes. It could be something to do with this front panel board. So now, currently loading on my screen. It's just a green circle going around in circles. Oh, checking for updates. I guess it's going to update whether I want it to or not. Well, sure is taking a while to check for updates. How about you actually find an update? The original Xbox One is still supported. Don't give me that BS. There was a problem updating. Ooh, there's another problem. Okay. Check network. Wired. Your console's connected to the internet. Let me try again. I might not be able to get past this screen. Because it's in good old Microsoft fashion. Update or be a brick. Checking for updates, it's not giving me like a status indicator that it's even loading. Let's see. Interesting. I think one of the Xboxes I was talking about from Facebook Marketplace had this exact issue where they couldn't bypass initialization. This could be network related. I mean, it could also be the hard drive just went bad. I suppose I'll have to do a lot more research to figure out what these error codes actually mean or sort of what people have figured out. Okay. It's giving me the same error code, and it's not going to let me go any further. This is curious. This console went from not turning on to a whole litany of problems. I'm very interested. Very intrigued. Let's see if I can just punch out this 0x8b 05 0084 0x 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 Xbox One error. I punched out the entire error code and just fed it into AI. We'll see what it says. So right now, the only options I get are to try again, check network, and turn off console. Oh, network connectivity required but not available. So it is detecting my network. It's not connecting to it. I don't think this is a security issue. Let me try wireless again. So something is going on with, like, the internet connectivity of it. So there's something wrong with the Wi-Fi or with the internet systems of this thing. So I'm gonna have to look into that a little more. I'm gonna have to physically look into that. Probably follow the network plug to see exactly what's going on. I can try one more time. It's telling me I have a network. I really wish I could run a network test, like my down and upload. But for now, I'll just turn off the console. It chimed at me, so that's a sign. But I think right now I'll have to wait on this console. I am kind of in the middle of a Wii U project that I want to finish up, so I don't exactly have either the physical space to put screws and accidentally touched that again. Slowly turning off. Eventually. There it goes. But I've eliminated the power supply as a problem as to why it's not, why it just turns on and turns off. I'm wondering if this thing took a surge and it's just behaving weird. For 3, or maybe just 3 capacitors in the power supply is just enough to make downstream issues. I mean, this is where fuses would come in handy, but I mean, we're getting somewhere. I'm just going to have to probe into it as to why it's behaving the way it is. So I don't think there's really much I can do right now until I sort of free up the time and space to take this thing apart, but from what was supposed to be a simple, yes, it was the power supply, everything else works fine, is turning into something a lot more interesting.